All right, I think we are live. I do believe. Let me find this live on Facebook and make sure that it is public. Give me just a second here. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. We've got this public and we are ready to rock and roll. Just a minute here. Oh, yeah. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay. All right. I'm just going to wait just a moment for a few people to come on. I see somebody just came on. Go ahead and like and share this. If you're watching this on YouTube, on my channel, The Conscious Bishop, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you'll know when we go live again. And be sure to hit the like button. If you're watching me on Facebook Live, I want you to be sure that you engage with me. Let's see those comments. And oh, let me turn the comments on here. Let's see. There we go. All right, let's see some comments, some engagement, because you know how this thing works, guys. There is an algorithm. There is an algorithm. Hey, Holly. Hello, my love. Good to see you. And this algorithm, it's it can be a little tricky, but if you engage, hit the like and the hearts and continue to put comments. Good evening, Andre. How are you? Then that will bring more people on. Well, to make this appear on more people's feeds, so that that oh my goodness, look, we're getting off to a bad start here. All right, somebody just put in a wonderful comment already, Andre. Okay. Well, all right, there we have it. Okay. And whether you guys agree with this statement or not, doesn't matter. This is, um, he says, I'm doing well, reacting and commenting for you. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you for reacting and commenting. Hey, guys, and you might agree with this statement. You may not. If you don't agree with it, oh, well, you know, I won't call him stupid. I don't know if he's real, but I like a few things about the character Jesus. But thank you, Andre. Uh, and good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. I am so glad to see a few of you already on here. I see more and more people coming on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to, what I'm going to do, oh, let me share this to a few places. I forgot that. Let's share it to a page here. I'm honestly not going to be very long tonight um because I need to feed myself, okay? So I'm not going to be on here very long, but thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much. Um yeah, I thank you, Andre, for those comments. Let's see what he says here. You seem like a happy, genuine dude. I like the energy, it's encouraging. Thank you, brother. I am genuinely happy. I really am. Oh, you said genius, happy genius, dude. I'm sorry. I thought you said genuine. But I am, uh, I don't know if I'm a genius. Some people may say that, but I don't say that. But I am genuinely happy. And that may have been what you meant. I'm very genuinely happy. I believe in positive. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. But I'll take the genius statement too, brother. I'll take that too. But I am genuine, and I am genuinely happy. I believe in positive energy. I try to encourage those around me to operate and function in a positive energy because I believe this is a what's the word you use? Cyclic, okay, meaning um, everything is it cycles, and I believe energy cycles in this world. This is just a belief. We might, I wouldn't say I have a way to prove it, but we might say there could be some science or physics that could support what I'm saying here. Um, but I do believe that energy cycles around. So whatever you put out, I believe it somehow comes back to you in some way, form, or shape, because energy is not neither created nor destroyed. Okay, it's just distributed. All right, and so since energy is not destroyed, whatever you put back, it comes back in some form. Thank you, Holly, so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh man, oh man, oh man. My brother Andre, oh my goodness gracious, I did not know that. Andre says he is a practitioner in, I think he meant in and not but in astral projection. It's it's awesome. You never remembered any of your travels. I have not. I have to think about that. I'm not sure, but I would love for you to come on in the future and talk about astral projection. That would be quite an interesting. Um, that would be quite an interesting subject. Would love for you to come on. So, guys, I want you guys to talk to each other in the comments, say hello, greet somebody, and I'm going to go grab me something to drink, and I'll be right back, and we're going to jump right in, okay? And I'm mic'd, so you probably, I just thought about that I'm mic'd, so you're going to hear everything I do. I just thought about that. Oh, boy. Well, that's okay. But I hope you guys are engaging in the comments while I'm in the kitchen. And some of you may say, bro, you should have done that before this started. Well, I didn't deal with it. It is what it is. Okay. But I am on my way back. And I promise, even though I got the red cup, this is not alcoholic. Okay. This is juice. My picture, please forgive my picture. It fell off my wall. I had these little, if you see this, I am not tacky. Okay. All right. If you know me, you know that. But I had the little command strips there, right? And my picture fell off my wall. But isn't this nice? Don't you like that? Isn't that cool? I need some heavier command strips though. Okay. So I'm so busy, I never do it. Anyway, messed up my wall too. Got a little blue on the wall, but it's okay. All right, y'all. And if you can tell, I like blue. That's blue too. Okay, let me see what's going on in the comments. All right. And then we're going to jump in. So it sounds good, I believe. I have a good amount of knowledge when it comes to astral projection through personal experience and studies. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we look forward to having you on. And you might need to now. Also, if you guys know me, I am very forgetful. So you might need to remind me, okay? Hey, thank y'all for talking to each other. That's pretty awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we're a community here, okay? Hey, Stephen, what's going on, brother? What's going on? And my sister is on here. Yes, she is. Angelina Hunt. Yes, baby. She's awesome. Hey, Marquise, man, what's going on? Good to have you. Good to have you. If anybody, and let me say this, if anyone wants to be a part of this conversation, let's see how I can invite you. Thinking. I think I can put a link in the comments. Let me see. So I'm going to put a link in the comments, hopefully. Ooh. The link will not, oh, it's trying to post. Oh, the link posted on, darn it, it posted on YouTube. It didn't post on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, you got the link. I'll put it right here, but it's kind of a lot to type. But if you can remember StreamYard.com and just remember this / oh, you know what? Let's see if I can. Hold on. I think I might be able to do it. Give me a second. Let me go to Facebook on my phone. Y'all bear with me. We're going to jump in, I promise. But I want to give other people an opportunity if you want to come on. Oopsie. Shut up, Jamel. But I want to give other people Jamel, be quiet. Hold on. but I want to give people. Let me turn the volume down. All right, I'm going to type it in. It is Stream Yard. Unless somebody else wants to type it. Oh, Marquise. Thank you, sir. Lord have mercy. I'm sitting there struggling and not reading to see that you've already put it there. Thank you so much. Okay. So if you would like to come on, and you can come on right now and participate from the jump, okay? I was hoping to get a special guest on here. I thank you, sir, Apostle. But I didn't get a special guest, but you can be my special guest. You can come on right now. Hey, Lisa, what's up? All right. So tonight I want to take probably about 30 more minutes, not much longer than that. Probably about 30 more minutes, and I just want to discuss what I consider some very disturbing principles that are biblical in their nature, that are approved by God, that are sometimes commanded by God. Now, I use the term God, and I'm going to do my quote unquote there. Okay. I use the term God loosely tonight. Okay. Because when I say God right now, okay, when I say there are some disturbing principles that God approved of, quote unquote, and that God even commanded, I am talking about the God of the Hebrew Bible. Now, I am not talking about other versions of God that you may have come to adopt. And most, let me say this, most of the Christian church, all right, well, I don't even know if that's true, but I know a lot of people that have adopted a a version of God that differs, and not even a version of God and a definition, let's use it that way, because I have a definition of God. I have a personal definition of God. So I know people that have adopted a personal definition of God that differs from the Hebrew God of the Bible, of the Hebrew Bible, which Hebrew Bible, by that I mean the Old Testament. Now, even a lot of New Testament, quote unquote, believers, their description of God does not match the God of the Bible, especially the Hebrew Bible. Okay. Is there a God? I really don't know. That's not what I'm here to debate, neither discuss. But I do want to discuss the God that is presented in the Hebrew Bible. Now, let me say something about this God. A lot of you don't know this God that's presented in the Hebrew Bible is even called by the name El. And this is not what I came here to talk about tonight. I don't want to get too far off subject, but called by the name El. I hope I didn't say Hebrew word, but I meant to just say called by the name El, which is El. And a lot of you do not know. Some of you may know, okay? Because if you go to seminary can almost, it definitely will cause some cognitive dissonance. If it doesn't make you an unbeliever, it's going to cause some cognitive dissonance. You hear me? Because in most seminaries, you're going to get the truth, okay? Unless you're going to your little church seminaries. And no offense to when I say your little church seminary, but I mean where you're not going to give, you're going to give your biased opinion. But if you're going to teach historical, well, I got to use the term facts loosely, but let's get to the point so I can get into the subject. So this God, El, do you know who El actually is? Okay. Do you know who El actually is? El is existed. Well, probably El doesn't exist either. It's a mythological god, but El actually was, and we're going to talk about Canaan. We're going to talk about the Canaanites in a few moments, but El was an ancient Canaanite god. It was a pagan god. Did you know that? The origin of this god El has a pagan origin. All right, we won't get into this right now. But I just want to throw it out there and tease you just a little bit and make you go do some searching. How about that? All right. But let's talk about these disturbing biblical principles that still affect our world today. I only have 30 minutes, so I got to move kind of fast. I have a couple of video clips I'm going to share with you that I think are comical but informative as well. So here we go. You know, I got to go back to something. I wanted to talk about, I have a definition of God, okay, that I have no problem with, okay? I believe in the possibility strongly. I believe in a God. Okay. I believe in God. I believe that there's a strong possibility that a God exists. Okay. But it is not the God. It's not the guy in the sky. Okay. This is my opinion. It's not the guy in the sky, and it's not the guy in the book. It's not the monster in the book. And we'll get deep into that in a moment, especially the Old Testament. But I believe there is a creative force, there's a creative energy. And I believe that this is what many people call God. And it is not limited to any religion. This creative force that I believe we are fractals of, okay? That we are fractals of this force that you can call God, because God to me simply means originator. There has to be some origination, okay? Um, I believe that this energy is not limited to any particular religion. It is not limited it's not a Christian God. And then, and you've got to be baptized to get this God. You've got to repeat some type of prayer to get this God in your life. You got to ask this God to come into your life. No, you are fractals of this God. And every human being is a fractal of this God, just purely because of your existence. Now, there may be some people out there that said that's ludicrous, okay? You may say, oh, there is no God at all. Well, that is your opinion, that there is no God at all, okay? I'm just not there. But I believe that every not just every human being, but I believe that everything, every organism, every tree, every drop of the water in the ocean, it's all fractals of this force or this energy or this God. Now, something that you need to know about fractals, it's kind of like we could start here and then we go here, then we go here, and then there's like these repeated patterns, okay, in everything. We see it, to give you an example of what I mean by fractals, we see it in trees, okay. If you look at the branches, I was looking at it today at tree, I call them naked trees, okay. Here in North Carolina in the wintertime, the trees get naked, all right. Yeah. So these nasty naked trees, as I call them, you look at the branches have the exact same pattern, the exact same likeness as its creator, which is the roots. Pay attention to that. The roots, if you look at a picture of tree roots, and then you look at the branches, you will see the exact same geometric pattern in the branches as you do in the roots, because it produces after itself. That's kind of like what I see in what I believe the allegory of the creation story. Man being created in the likeness, okay, or as a fractal of God. The pattern, as it's kind of like the saying that you hear, as above, so below. All right. That's what a fractal is. No, okay. I'm all over the place. I'm really not where I want to be. But let's get to this subject. I just wanted to set that up there. And again, if anybody wants to come on with me, please just tag right in. I would love to have you. But let's talk about this one disturbing principle I want to talk about tonight, because I'm short on time because I talk too much in my intro and prep talk. Okay. Sorry. So we're going to talk about one thing. So in the book of Deuteronomy, um, actually in the book of Genesis, actually. So let's go back. God makes a promise to this character, to this man named Abraham. Anybody know Abraham? You guys know anything about Abraham? God makes a promise to Abraham, and he tells Abraham after he, you know, after he tells him, if you love me, he didn't quite. The scripture doesn't read this way. I am kind of not even paraphrasing. I'm kind of exaggerating the text to help you to get an understanding of really um, mm, the actual nonsensical nature of the story. So after he tells this man of faith, if you love me, you'll kill your son. Anyway, so he obeys God and he goes to kill his son. And as soon as he's about to, can we just stop right there? Can we just park right there for a moment? God says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. And my commandment for you, Abraham, today is I want you to offer your son as a sacrifice to me. Kill him. Does that even make sense? Does that sound like a God you want to serve? Come on, somebody, talk to me. Does that even, can we just stop right there? Can I get some Christians that may be watching or listening to this or watching the replay? Can you just for a moment have just a moment of clarity with me, clear thinking? Does that sound like a loving God? Does it sound like a sane God? Does it sound like a God that you want to devote your life to? And I know you say, well, God was just testing his faith to see if he would do it. I think there's plenty of ways that God could have tested his faith besides saying, go kill your son. Okay? Yeah. I know you say, well, when he got up there, he had a ram in the stead of his son, so he actually didn't kill his son. Well, what kind of nonsense is that? Would you want a God in your life that is a manipulator, that is a trickster, that tells you, hey, go kill your son? And as soon as you take the knife back to kill your son, he said, psych, man, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, man. You ain't got to kill your son. I just wanted to see if you was going to really do it. I wanted to see if you was going to do it. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense at all? Okay. And I guarantee you, ladies out there, if your husband said that he heard voices in his head telling him to kill y'all's kids, you'd probably kill him first, right? More than likely. But God makes a promise to Abraham because Abraham is so faithful. And I promise I'm bringing this in. Abraham loves God. And I believe this is simply an allegory. I think it's simply a made up story. I think it carries with it some weight because there are lessons that we can glean from all of these stories. Okay. But the lessons are not the same for each person. Just like when you read, what's his name? Read any book, okay, or when you watch any movie, everybody sees something different in it. And I think that is a very healthy way of looking at the Bible, to see what you see in it. What is it saying to you? Okay, not saying it's the word of God and it's literal and whatever it says is what you must do and obey. No, see how it speaks to you. Okay, and eat the fish and spit out the bones. Right? Right? So Abraham is so faithful to God. God makes Abraham a promise. And God says, Abraham, because you're so faithful to me, because you believe me, and you are willing to even sacrifice your own son, God says, I'm making a promise to you that I'm going to give you and the people, your descendants after you, I'm going to take you into what we all know of as the promised land. Somebody type the promised land. So God says, I'm going to give you the promised land. Now, this promised land, as many of you know, is a place called Canaan. Somebody type Canaan. Now, here's the problem. So God makes this promise to Israel. I'm going to just say Israel. I'm going to give you, I'm promising you a land, and I'm going to give you this land. This is going to be your inheritance. Okay? Canaan. But the problem is, guys, the problem with this promised land is that the land is already occupied. The problem with this promised land that God supposedly is giving these people is that the land, oh my goodness, I'm feeling an energy here. The problem is that the land already belongs to somebody else. Is this sounding familiar to you? I need to know, is this sounding familiar to you? Can we push this thousands of years forward before I even get too deep into this? And can you see ways, even in this United States of America, so called, and even in other parts of our world, can you see the same type of setup? Thank you, Tommy. Tommy says, yep, pretty familiar. So understand, even, and this is why I say it's disturbing biblical principles that still affect and influence this world today, because you've got to understand what the root of some of the evil in this world today has its foundation. A lot of it comes from religion, if not almost all of it. If not from Christianity, it comes from some other religion. Okay, it's this thing goes, the hate that you see in America, the hate that you see in other parts of the country. Let's talk. I don't want to go into this right now, but let's talk about this Gaza Strip situation here. Let's talk about how this. Let's talk about the Palestinians. Let's talk about Israel. And you just think about that for a moment. I'm not even going to go into that. But you think about all of that. We don't even have to go that far. We don't have to go all the way to Palestine or to Gaza or to Israel. We don't have to go that far. People of the United States of America, can we just go to the colonizers that supposedly discovered this place that we're sitting in or standing in right now? When they got here, what we're calling the United States of America, it was already occupied. The land was already owned. Do you hear me? And you guys are looking over there talking about this little strip of land called the Gaza Strip. You guys are, some of you are criticizing that, and it should be criticized, absolutely. Okay. However, can we talk about what's going on right here in the United States? What's always been? Okay. What do we give to the natives? What do we give to the indigenous people? Let's give them a little strip called a reservation. And in this reservation, you're not quite as regulated by our rules. We're giving, I don't even want to go into this, man. Let me tell you. Yeah, Tommy says, I get, he quotes someone that would say, I get my morality from the Bible. Yeah, that's the problem. That is the problem. Absolutely. So this sounds familiar to you. God promises, and my time is almost up here, but God promises Abraham, or he promises Israel, this promised land called Canaan. But the problem is Canaan is already occupied and it's already owned. The problem is this promised land is already filled with people who own the land called Canaanites. So how, my friends, how were they to get this promised land from God? How were they to get this promised land that's promised by God himself? Let's look at some scriptures here. If I can find them. Let's see, the first scripture I want to look at here. So let's look at Deuteronomy. Hey, Chris. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 20. First, let's see. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 7, I think, first. So God promises Abraham, God promises the Israelites, okay, this land. And how were they to get the land? Deuteronomy 7:1. When the Lord your God brings you into the land you are about to enter and occupy, he will clear away many nations ahead of you: the Hittites, Girgashites, Amorites, Canaanites, Pezerites, Hivites, the Jebusites. These 7 nations are greater and more numerous than you. When the Lord your God hands these nations over to you and you conquer them, you must completely destroy them. Make no treaties with them and show them no mercies. Then he goes on to say, you must not, just throw this in here, just in case you're thinking about sparing some of them because the women are beautiful. He says, you must not intermarry with them. Do not let your daughters and sons marry their sons and daughters, for they will lead your children away from me to worship other gods. The anger of the Lord will burn against you, and he will destroy you quickly. I want you to see something else. The root of this thing is a jealous God. You know, I can't believe how we used to praise a jealous God. And we used to think that was a great thing. And we would say, you know, God is a jealous God. So we need to give him our all, for God is a jealous God. How did we ever talk such a way? That is not anything to embrace and celebrate, that our God is a jealous God. And he's so jealous that he wants you to make sure that not only make sure that you destroy, he wants you to make sure that you kill and destroy everybody in the land. And to make sure, because there may be some beautiful women over there, okay? So he wants you to make sure that you don't get, you know, too enticed by these women and marry and intermarry with them, okay? Because, and why? Look at the reason why he doesn't even want you to intermarry. Again, this is something that still affects and influences our world today. Look at why he does not want you to intermarry. He says, don't intermarry with them, not because something's wrong with them or they have a gene trait that is harmful, you know, or the splicing or the mixing of the races causes some type of harmful effect on the world. No, he says you must not marry them or allow your sons and daughters to marry them, for I'm afraid that if you marry them, their children will lead you away from me and cause you to worship other gods. This is nonsense. Do you guys hear me? So my point here is God makes this promise to Abraham. I keep saying Abraham because that's where it started. But God promises Israel this promised land, and he says, the way I'm going to give it to you, because remember the problem. The problem is it's already occupied. It's already owned by somebody. So God says, I'm going to give you the promised land, but the way I'm going to give you the promised land is you got to go in there and you got to invade the people that already live there, and I need you to kill all of them, and then it's your land. Yay! What a mighty God they serve. So how were they to get this promised land? By mass murder. How does that make you feel? Does that sound right to you? Does that sound right to you? Hmm. Why did I stop? I stopped for this very reason. What's on that screen right there? This is why I stopped. Right there. Hold on. That's why I stopped. Because, it's so crazy. So I want us to take a moment to inhale this moment and to be present in this moment and really hear what's happening here. God is promising them a land, but the way they are to get the land is they are to invade the people that already live in the land and kill them all. Then the land is yours. Is that even, guys? Exactly, Tommy. Look at this. Tommy says, why couldn't he have just created some new uninhabited land for them? Because he's the magic man. You understand what I'm saying? All he got to do is say, let there be. Remember? You remember? Let there be. And there it be. So why couldn't he have just created, he says, some new inhabited land or some other land? There was certainly land that had not been inhabited. It sounds like ancient Israelites making propaganda to excuse why they wiped some people out. And it's still happening today. Chris says, did we ever consider the perspective of those who already occupied the land? I know I didn't for years. I didn't either. It's no wonder some people throw the baby out with the bathwater once they realize how crazy that is. Right. And I'm glad you said that, because some people say, and I talked earlier about how there is value for I'm saying for me, but I really don't use the Bible for anything anymore except for talks like this. But I'll say there's value in the Bible, not for me, but there's value in the Bible to me. Okay. So I don't think we have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as long as you don't look at this literal. I think when I look at something like this, it just makes me see, it really helps me to relate to our current world. It makes me see why people think some of the crazy things they think today. Because this nation brags, even though it's not a Christian nation, it brags and boasts of being a Christian nation. So you're going to be just like your God. Because I said this before and I'll say it again. In the beginning, man created God in his own image. If man didn't like somebody, what's the easiest thing to do? Kill somebody. So why not just say, God told me to do it? Okay, anyway. Certainly a lack of critical thinking here. So what's the principle here? And I'm 8 minutes over my time. Well, no, I started before the timer started. So I probably got about 10 minutes at least. So what's the principle here that I feel is very dangerous? One principle literally is the same as what was happening in this scripture. And I think this is a disturbing and dangerous biblical principle. And that is that it's okay to kill to get what you want. It's okay to harm others. Do you understand that this is the idea that's being presented here? It's okay to harm others to get what you want. It's okay not to give a rat's ass about other people if they don't share your beliefs. It's okay. So that's why you had, I want you to see how this has played out in our society over the last 100 years. That's why you have, now I'll say over the last 60 years, that's why you had people proudly walking with picket signs and saying God hates gays. And you have people that would gladly say that, 60, 70 years ago, take all of the blacks and put them on a ship and send them back to Africa. We might have been happy for that at one point, to be honest with you. But anyway, the way black people were treated at that time. But yeah, take all the black people, and I've heard them take all the black people and shoot them. I've heard that talk. Do you understand how this has trickled down from this ancient mythology that's just stories that are made up? But because people are so committed to their beliefs, it becomes a part of their subconscious. They don't even realize sometimes what they're saying and how crazy what they're saying sounds, because they developed a lifelong subconscious attachment to this Old Testament God that clearly says it's okay to kill those you don't like. It's okay to kill those who are not like you. And look at the wars that are going on, all that have always been going on. Okay? He says the Canaanites were basically punished for the crime of simply being in their homes. And also, sadly, familiar. I hope you guys are understanding the correlation that I'm making here today. So what is this principle? The principle that's being, or the precedent that's being set here is, it's okay to hate. The principle is, hate is okay because God hates. Do you feel me? It's okay to hate those who God hates. I heard, I don't want to get off track, but I was watching something online that was there was a street evangelist that was basically saying this. He says, I will not shake. He was telling Kirk Franklin, another gospel singer, because he doesn't like Kirk Franklin's lyrics of his songs, and he thinks Kirk Franklin is a sinner. He says, I'm not going to shake your hand. I'm not going to sit down and eat with you because God hates you. Anyway, but the principle is, it's okay to hate because God hates. The principle is, it's okay to hate who God hates. It basically translates to this: it's okay to hate those that are not like you. Did anybody hear what I said? Anybody hear what I said? This principle, this precedent that's set in the holy, sacred scriptures basically translates to, it's okay to hate those who are not like you. And this is still affecting our world today. This thought, and it's on a subconscious level, and I think it is deeply founded in religion. It is still influencing our world today. Goodness gracious. He said, man, you got the atheist saying amen. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. And there's nothing wrong with being atheist. There's nothing wrong with that at all. When it comes to this God in the Bible, I would consider myself an atheist because I don't believe in that dude. Not that dude. But basically translate this to, it's okay to hate those who are not like you. And here's the thing. And it kind of evolves. And I don't know if we're going to have time to see some of these other scriptures because I'm almost way over my time. But the principle evolves, and to me, and it goes deeper. It's okay to hate and maybe even kill those who do not share your beliefs, those who just happen to have a different religion than you, maybe because they were raised in a different part of the world. And the principle goes even deeper. It's okay to kill those you hate. The principle goes even deeper. It goes even further, I should say. It's okay to kill if the person who you're killing, or the people who you're killing, it's okay to kill if their death benefits you. That's what's being presented here, guys. It's okay to display hate, and it's okay to even kill if the death benefits you. Let's read some scriptures. Let's read some more scriptures. This is Deuteronomy 20 and 17. You must completely destroy the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, and all the ites, just as the Lord your God commanded you. This will prevent. Watch this. Why? Why does he want you to kill all of them? Do you see all of the people that God wants them to kill? This is a long list. This is Deuteronomy 20. God is commanding the killing, the complete, utter destroying of all of these people. He says, you must completely, oh my goodness. I'm not even putting that comment on the screen, Holly. I'm not messing with you. He says, you must completely destroy the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Pezerites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. 6 entire nations. He says you must commit what's obviously not a sin, genocide. You must carry out the genocide of these 6 entire nations, and you must completely destroy them. But look at why. Look at why. Verse 18. You must completely destroy them, just as your God commanded you. This will prevent the people of the land from teaching you to imitate their detestable customs in the worship of their gods, which would cause you to sin deeply against the Lord your God. This shit is dumb as hell. Dumb as hell. So we're back to, I'm looking for the comment. I don't see it. I'm looking for a certain comment. But anyway, we're back to the jealous God. The jealous God. The only reason, look, did you hear what I just read? The only reason God wants to completely destroy 6 entire nations, he says, because by killing them, if you kill all of them, this will prevent the people of the land from teaching you their customs. Y'all, I am not making this up. I am reading this directly from the Bible. And I hold my head down in shame that I once taught this as truth, that I once thought that this sounded like an all-loving, all-merciful, wonderful, amazing, and beautiful God. I hold my head down in shame. Kill them all. Well, brother, you know the church is right. The church will say man wrote that. The church is right because man wrote the whole damn book, okay? Man wrote the whole damn book. Oh, Lord, I'd have knocked my ring light down. I got so excited. Y'all, let me go get my ring light. Hold on. I'll be right back. Lord, I think I broke it. I don't know. Let me see. Did I break the thing? Oh, my goodness. I got too excited. I got way too excited, y'all. Yeah, man. Yeah. Exactly. Taryn, God condones killing. Look at this. Look at this comment he just put up there. God condones killing, but they have a problem with abortion and birth control. Isn't that something? And here's the thing, guys. What people need to realize is that Because man wrote it, if man wrote the Bible, man created the story. If man created the story, man created the God of the story. Are you tracking with me? Man created God in his own image, made God look like he wanted him to look. It's propaganda so that man could do what man wants to do. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Let's read some more scriptures. If I had a reader, I'd say, read. Look at this. This is, oh, I already read that. Hold on. Already read that. Hold on. Let's go to 1 Samuel 15. And then I'm going to show some videos and we're going to stop. Let's look at some comments first. Now, let's read 1 Samuel 15. One day Samuel said to Saul, "It was the Lord who told me to anoint you as king of his people Israel. Now listen to this message from the Lord. This is what the Lord of heaven's army has declared. I have decided to settle accounts with the nations of Amalek. Excuse me. I've decided to settle accounts with the nation of Amalek for opposing Israel when they came from Egypt. Now go and completely destroy the entire Amalekite nation, men, women, children, babies, cattle, sheep, goats, camels, and donkeys." Now, somebody please tell me, what the hell did the babies, the children, even the cattle, the sheep, the goats, and the donkeys do to God? Hello? Tap, 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 tap. Anybody there? What in the hell did the children, the babies, the cattle, the sheep, the goats, the camels, and the donkeys do to God? Are you hearing me? Now, this takes it to another level. And I'm going to go back and read the comments in just a moment. This is way past 30 minutes, but we're going to roll with this because it's getting good. Now, this is where it gets crazy to me. Because not only is it okay to kill an entire nation, genocide, not only is it okay to kill an entire nation if it benefits you, but it's okay to make sure that you don't leave out the babies. This is God, y'all. This is that God. And I hope your eyes are opening up and that you see that this could not in any way be a God that existed. And it is, if it is a God that existed, it is a monster. And I wouldn't care if that God, if I found out that version of God was real, I wouldn't care if it descended from heaven or wherever, from its mountain, and came down here and revealed itself to me with a damn name tag saying, "I am God." I wouldn't worship it. No. Why? Because my conscience wouldn't let me. Because I'm human. My heart that's filled with love would not allow me to serve a God that would require me to kill babies and children. Hell to the no. No way. You want to kill me? You're just going to have to take me out. I am not going to kill babies and children. And I'm not going to bow down to a God that wants me to kill babies and children. Exactly, Sharon. Not that God. No, no, no. God says, now listen to this message from the Lord. The Lord says, I'm mad at the Amalekites. And I want you to go down there because I'm mad at the Amalekites. I want you to go down there and I want you to kill the men, the women, the children, the babies, the cattle, the sheep, the goats, the camels, and the donkeys. So for all you animal lovers out there, how y'all feel about that? And I hope all of you are children and baby lovers. So let's deal with that. Because if nothing else made you feel any kind of way, that should make you feel some kind of way that this God is demanding the murder of children and babies. And do you know that Christian theologians defend this? Let's take a look at what some Christian theologians actually say. Some of your most famous evangelical preachers and theologians say, when we bring up the question, how in the world could God be okay with the killing of children and babies? How in the world? They have an answer. And I'm getting ready to play a little short clip. And this is going to have a little bit of comedy to it. You're going to see some animation with the devil in the background and Jesus and some little kids. But I want you to see what Christian apologists are actually saying about why it's okay for God to kill babies. Does that even make sense? Does that make sense to say? Even to say it's okay, and that somebody is getting ready to explain why it's okay for God to kill babies. Y'all, please watch this. Here we go. You ready?
The difficult problem is the children. How could God command that the children be killed because these are innocent?
Whew, that is indeed a problem, Willie. Let's restate that once more. For the children.
How is it consistent with God's nature that he would command that these Canaanite children be killed?
Exactly. How could God do that?
God knows who will or will not repent of his or her sin, and if he concludes that the children would have grown up and acted similarly,
y'all hear that?
He's perfectly right to institute capital punishment.
God has the right to give and take life as he sees fit. Children die all the time, every day.
It's right for God to slaughter women and children anytime he pleases.
Wow, and they call me the Prince of Darkness.
Also, although it isn't a given, I agree with Paul Copan.
From an article that I wrote with a friend of mine, Matt Flanagan.
This is a central part of the moral argument. You hear people like Paul Copan and William Lane Craig.
Since I believe in the salvation of children, that this was actually a mercy extended to them. And those children, once in heaven, would be grateful that God had issued such a command to the Israeli armies to wipe them out. So the death of these children meant their salvation. They were the recipients of an infinite good as a result of their earthly phase of life being terminated.
There we are. Did you guys hear that? I hope you were able to hear that. Could you hear that? Did you get the sound? Was that not the craziest thing you ever heard? It's a sign of mercy, and it's salvation, and that these children will, this is Christian apologists saying this, and preachers and theologians saying, these children, once they get to heaven, they're going to be grateful that God terminated their earthly phase. I left that on the screen for a reason. Christian apologists are gross. You're right. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, it's madness. I'm going to go back and look at the comments. I've got one more video I want to share. But this is crazy. This video showed reasons why Christian apologists think it's okay for God to kill babies. It's okay for God to command his people to kill babies. Disgusting. And these are preachers, theologians, and apologists. Disgusting. Somebody said this really needs to be the final century for religion. I wish I could believe that it was, but I am not certain at all, sir. It is absolutely disgusting. It is madness. Yeah. It's pretty bad. I'm going to look at some of these other comments, but I want to end, before I go to the comments, I want to end with one final thought here. So if we come to the conclusion that the stories are just not real, okay, does that make it okay? And you're going to hear this little girl, I don't think I put it on there, with a little girl, maybe it's on there. I don't know. We'll see in a minute if that's in the video I'm going to play, where the little girl is defending God. And she says, well, since the story is not real, it's okay. God didn't kill the Canaanites. Is it okay just that the story is not real? Is that okay? Just because we know that this really didn't happen, that God really didn't kill these people? Is it okay? Let's listen to this.
Huh?
It's the principle that you should kill people to take their land and their property.
I see that I edited something out of this. So I want to add some commentary here, because I think I spliced this video too soon. The person was asking the question that now, since we know the story is not real, is it okay? And this guy comes on and says, no, it's still not okay. Even though we know the story is not real, that God didn't command the death of children and babies and all these nations, he said it's still not okay because it's the principle. Okay, let's see if I can. I don't know if I can rewind it, but here we go.
And that you should kill people because their religion is different.
Okay, let's go back.
Holocaust.
God didn't kill the Canaanites. It didn't happen.
So we're okay. God's still perfect.
You think so? Dr. Avalos, what do you think?
It actually doesn't matter whether it happened or not.
Huh?
It's the principle that you should kill people to take their land and their property, and that you should kill people because their religion is different. Those principles, we should have a zero tolerance for them. Whether they happen or not is irrelevant, because the principle remains. The author believed that you should kill women and children if their religion is different, or because God told you to take their land and value.
That's it. He said we should have zero tolerance for this. It's still not okay, even though we know if the story is not true. It's not okay because the author, somebody actually wrote this. It's not okay. It's the principle. Somebody wrote this. Somebody believed that it's okay for somebody made up the story, you see? And they believe that it's okay for women and children to be killed just for not believing like you believe. And here today in this world, people harm other people, disregard other people, humiliate and hurt other people just because they don't believe what they themselves believe. Matter of fact, you may say, well, nobody in this age really believes that people deserve to die for not believing like they believe. I beg to differ with you. 100% of most Christians, well, I said most Christians said it wouldn't be 100%, but most Christians believe that people deserve to die for not believing what they believe. Thus, we have the doctrine of hell. If you don't believe what I believe, you're going to die, and you're going to not only die, after you die, you're going to continue to burn forever, and you deserve it just because you don't believe like I believe. I'm pausing because I want that to just kind of marinate for just a moment. Do you hear me? So do you even understand that most Christians today believe that humans deserve to suffer, to die, and to be tortured? Not for a length of time, but forever? Do you understand that most Christians believe that people actually deserve, and actually will say they're doing it to themselves? They chose it. So they believe that there's actually people, flesh and blood, just like them, so human soul, human conscious, just like them, that actually deserve to be punished, to be tormented forever, just because they don't believe what they believe. This is crazy. All right, what I'm going to do now, that's all I want to talk about. I'm at 1 hour and 5 minutes. That's pretty good. I'm going to go up to the last comment that I saw here, or a bunch of comments that I missed. So I hope these people that did type these comments earlier, I hope you're still here. So let's see where we're going to start at. Okay, this is the one. All right, Zalika says, I don't remember which book, but when Moses got to a certain place, he was going to, oh yes, okay, he was going to kill him. Yeah, God was going to, okay, God was going to kill him. Yeah, but Moses' wife circumcised their son and threw the foreskin down as a sacrifice. That's what saved Moses. Exactly. Now that's, you ought to see how ridiculous and creepy that is in itself. That shit is creepy as hell and weird as hell, that God's going to kill Moses. God's going to strike. He struck out at Moses, getting ready to kill him. And real quick, Moses' wife, not with any type of anesthetic, by the way, Moses' wife chops on their son's penis. Real quick. He had to do this quick because God was getting ready to kill Moses. So Moses' wife, real quick, because obviously she knows God likes penis skin. So real quick, she chops off the foreskin of her son, throws it down, throws it, basically gives it, offers it to God. Oh, God, here's some penis skin for you. And God says, oh, precious penis skin. What's the little thing on the ring? Oh, precious, precious penis skin, precious. And so, so God sees the penis skin and he says, okay, you're good, Moses. And walks away with precious. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's funny, but it ain't funny. Precious penis skin. Me like weenie skin. Me, Jehovah like weenie skin. Anyway, okay. I know some Christians got real offended right there, but you need to learn more about this ancient Canaanite god, this war god called El. But that, thank you for putting it up there. Okay, somebody had a question. Deborah says, oh, this is earlier. Explain God being a jealous God. Right. But that may not have even been a question. That was probably a rhetorical question. Explain God being a jealous God, but the Bible speaks about jealousy being a sin. Yeah, it's contradict. Listen, this is not a cohesive book because it's not a book, first of all. It was never intended to be cohesive. And I'm not trying to defend the Bible, but I'm telling you, it was never intended to be cohesive because it's not a book. It's a collection of books and writings and stories. And the reason it was compiled together in one book is because a group of men decided what components would be a part of the book. God didn't decide, a group of men decided. There were many other writings that were considered. Some of the writings, such as Revelation and some other books, were almost left out because they were not considered, inspired, some of them. But they got put in anyway. But you get my point. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. It is a contradiction. It is definitely and oxymoron. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna go through comments here. Wish I could have stayed. Gotta get back on stage. Okay. I wish you could. Oh, he's not listening. So if you're watching the replay, I wish you could have stayed too. I wish I knew what we were talking about here, Tommy. Maybe you or Zalika can remind me what we were talking about. That story is wild. Preachers don't usually talk about that one. What was I talking about at the time? I'm gonna wait a minute for y'all to type and tell me what I was talking about, either Tommy or Zalika. What was the story? Oh, it's the penis skin story? Oh, the penis skin story. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. No, I never heard anybody preach on that one. Okay, I got a lot of comments. I'm going back. I may not get to them all, but I'm gonna try. Okay. And I like that, Sharon, making a distinction between, the God that you accept and the God of that book. Definitely sounds like that. Yeah, Tommy, I like that. Tommy says apologetics should be apologizing. Okay, here's one here. So my question is, why couldn't the God of the Bible do his own dirty work? He always needed a hitman. And I don't know if anybody caught that. When I was reading Deuteronomy 7 and then skipping to Deuteronomy 20, I don't know if anybody caught that God says that he's going to give them this promised land according to the narrative, right? And God says that he's going to, wait a minute, y'all. I got an important text. Hold on. Let me okay. God, I don't know if you caught this. God says that hold on. Never mind. I ain't gonna send that. God says, I'm giving you this promised land, and he says, I'm gonna drive out all of these inhabitants of the land. God says he's gonna do it. And then we go over a couple chapters later, and God says, all right, I want you to kill these people, and I want you to kill these people, and I want you to kill all these 6 people, all these 6 nations. And it's the same nations that God said he was going to drive out. Anyway, great question. Let's see. I'm skipping. I already seen that. I already put that up. Let's see. Holly, you might have to refresh my memory on this one. She said there's plenty of other ways to get the point across. It's very dark and evil, in my opinion. I don't remember what we were talking about at that time, but if you want to type that down below, let me pull up my phone so in case you type it, I won't have to move from my comments here. I'll turn my volume down, and I want to see what you were referring to. I'll pull my comments up here. Okay. Almost done here. I'm almost done with the comments. If I kept telling stories about killing people, but said it's okay, it's not real, would you think I'm okay? Exactly. So therefore, I know what you're talking about. It's not okay, even if the stories are not real. Yeah, exactly, Holly. Yeah, all of God saying all of this, but at the same time, killing is a sin. And this is exactly God violating his own commandments. He's schizo too, indeed. Okay, there are nicer stories to make a point. Exactly. That the priests were the biggest murderers ever. They stole so much property. Yeah, I don't believe you should be killed, just tortured forever after you die. Yeah, that's what they say, right? And that's better? No, I don't think so. Exactly. And this is, like Sharon said, this is why I say these biblical principles, these disturbing biblical principles, still affect and influence our world today. Yeah, I need to respond to this. Give me a second. It still affects our world today. Exactly, because churches condemn each other for not agreeing. Let's see what she says. Pope Leo X said, the fable of Christ is very profitable to the church. Oh my goodness, indeed. I know, Tommy. Fun fact about that story. Moses' wife put the foreskin on his foot, and feet are a euphemism for genitals. And you know, God took pride in men's genitals. God was obsessed with men's genitals. Maybe that's why, never mind. God was so obsessed, if you will, with men's genitals that he says, watch this, guys. There's a law that says, and you probably heard me talk about this before, but there's a Levitical law. I want to let you see how much God loves genitals. And you don't mess with God's genitals. Don't mess with his balls. The man's balls are holy unto the Lord. The man's balls belong to God. So God says in this Levitical law that if a man is in a fight with another man and the man's wife comes to defend her husband and she happens to touch the other man whom she's fighting because he's coming against her husband, if she accidentally touches his genitals, which you know that's what the woman's going to do, she's going to punch him in his balls, right? God says that if she tries to defend her husband and comes in contact with the man's genitals, that her husband, who she was trying to defend, is to cut off her arm and show her no mercy. You heard me right. Why? Because she touched that other man's balls. She touched his genitals. And you don't play with God's genitals. He loves the genitals. Oh, precious, precious. I love the balls. Precious. Oh, the precious balls. Okay? But do you hear how crazy that story really is? And it's not a stranger that is to cut off the woman's arm. It's not the man that she hit that is to cut off his arm. It's the woman's husband whom she was defending has to cut off his own wife's arm for touching that other man's genitals. And the scripture literally says, and the husband is to show his wife no mercy. I'm not making this up. It's in the book. Okay, let's go. Somebody said the book was meant for England. All right, let's see what this is. Refresh my memory. What did Moses do that pissed God off? That pissed the God of the Bible. That pissed off. I'm sorry. Let's read it again. Refresh my memory, Bishop. What did Moses do that pissed the God of the Bible? Why am I reading this my way like I can't see? That pissed off the God of the Bible that caused him not to enter the promised land. He struck the rock instead of spoke to the rock. How dumb is that? The nicest. Okay, I already read that. Let's see what this says. Is that why the Pentecostals were not allowed to wear their toes out? We could never wear sandals. Now that's creepy. You're going to have to remind me. I don't remember what we were talking about at the time. But I'm looking also at the comments on my phone if you want to type what we were actually talking about. Holy balls, Batman. Exactly. Saving his sacred balls. Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. I think that is about it. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. Not the entire time have we been talking, but we're at an hour and 20 minutes. And oh, skin thrown at the toes. Interesting. I don't know. I think that's very, very interesting. Could be. All right, guys. Thank you so much for participating with me today. And I hope that you reflected over and pondered the thoughts that I talked about, especially in the beginning, and considered how these, I love you, Holly. I love you. Considered how these disturbing biblical principles still affect and influence our world today. Maybe not in the same way, at least in America, but in some ways in the same way. Okay. And we talked about, what's going on with Palestinians, Israel, and the Gaza Strip, and all of that stuff that's going on. Yes, sister, I am done. You are late. I am done. But yeah, but I want you to consider how these principles are still affecting and influencing the world today. And we need to rethink a lot of this. We need to rethink a lot of this. Guys, it's okay. Those of you that are committed to beliefs, not me, but if you're committed to religion, I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is a religion that is not developing, that is not being reassessed, that is not being reevaluated and reformed as we learn more and as the world changes and as we understand even ancient times more. I don't have a problem. Well, I do have a problem with religion, but I would have less of a problem with religion if it was consistently reevaluated like everything else in this world. That's it for me. Thank y'all. I'm out. Good night.